No, okay. Now we're going to talk about the third Sunday of Advent. It's about Saint John preaching about of the people asking him what they had to do because they were touched by what Saint John said, John the Baptist said about the need to change. So what they were asking him is, what do we need to do? So Saint John told them what they had to do, to be fair and to do the work they were supposed to do, and so that's what he was saying. But then also, Saint John was not talking about theological explanations. He was talking about life, how to live life, and so we can learn a lot from this, especially that for the Jewish people thought that they were the chosen people of God, and so they were not afraid of the final judgment. In fact, during their lifetime, if they committed any sin, it was satisfied by an offering, sin offering in the temple. So there was no need to change the behavior as long as you can offer sacrifices. And in a way, this was taken by the Christians, saying that Christ was a sacrifice needed by God to forgive our sins, which is really questionable, no? Because I think Christ wanted to correct that idea, and yet we are using it, no? Because he did not die so we can earn forgiveness from God. He died because they did not want to listen to him. He accepted that to show to them that in spite of what they have done, God still loved them to the end and beyond. And so that was a show of love, not because he had to die. He died to show them God's love. And I hope we can understand it that way. And so, we talk about that. So why are we doing the same thing as they were doing? And a good example is confession. No? For them, sin, offer, sacrifice in the temple. For us, sin and confession. Do people want to change their life? Not necessarily. As long as they can do the penance, they're okay. Not because they want to become better, but because they want to be forgiven and they feel good by fulfilling the requirements of the penance. So that's precisely where we are now. And so we're still ignorant of God's love. And so Saint John was telling them, no, do this. Put into practice. Change your way of thinking. Change the way of life. Do it. Practice it. Experience it. So the same thing with us Christians now. No? Unless we experience God's love, we cannot love other people. Unless we have experienced God's forgiveness, we cannot forgive as he has forgiven us. And so on and so on. So the relationship with Jesus is very important, because without that, we have nothing to rely on except our human experience. In our human experience, even human love falls short of what is really demanded of us. As we said in the Sermon on the Mount last week, human love can lead to destruction. Between husband and wife, I cannot live without my wife, go on living without my husband, and they forget about their children. And then parents who have experienced terrible things when they were growing up, they did not want their children to experience what they experienced, and so they gave them what they want, to their destruction, becoming irresponsible. Unless we have experienced and understood God's love, we cannot give the same love to other people. Human love is destructive. God's love is very positive, and it leads to solutions to our life, not here and for all eternity. So the essential thing is to know, to experience, and to share the love of God, the forgiveness of God, the compassion of God. So it's not like what St. John was saying. For him, it was a gospel of condemnation from the beginning. But that was his idea, because that was his Jewish experience. So people would listen because they were not thinking about that. But now St. John was telling, no, if you did not change, there's condemnation. Something different, something new for them. So they asked, what do we have to do? Hopefully for us Christians, we will not ask the same question. Hopefully, by knowing and experiencing God's love, we know what we have to do. And so we ask God to help us to do what we need to do, instead of begging, forgiveness, or begging this or begging that. And I think that's no. If you have any questions, let us know on how we can improve our programming for you. Thank you.